Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm joined by Drummer Say bonjour.
Bonjour.
See, he's learning his French. Yeah, I see what you're doing there.
It's not that I just do what I'm told.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, isn't that what learning a language is? Just doing what you're told until you understand it.
Yeah. The tricky bit is understanding what you're being told, but...
You can generally get the implication.
Yeah, totally.
You know, put your finger here, lick this, you know, it's...
Okay. And how many languages do you know? You don't want to talk about it, do you?
I don't want to talk about it. It was a dark time in my life.
Okay.
What have you been up to, Matt?
Learning French.
Oh.
And looking for houses. And this much of a muchness from last time, I think. At least the progression being we found a house. And we're moving in tomorrow. Or I guess by the time this goes out, a few days ago.
It's getting all weird and time warped now.
Yeah, so that'll be good. So I'll have more of a permanent podcasting, recording, whatever setup. Because I don't know if you guys if it's possible to share the picture of my current setup. We'll find like an Imgur link or something. I don't know. I'll comment on it on YouTube with an Imgur link of my current setup, which is just ludicrous. I've basically made a blanket fort.
Yeah, it's pretty glorious, I've got to be honest.
It was awful. We forced him to do it. This poor man forced to build this kick-ass blanket fort.
No, you guys were like, no, don't worry about the weird echoes from last time. I was like, no, this is an amazing excuse to build a blanket fort. I'm going with this.
I'm just surprised it doesn't have a no girls allowed thing on the outside of it, you know?
Oh, it should.
No, it should be in French. Because,
Okay.
all those French women trying to break into Drummer Matt's apartment to get into his blanket fort. He's sick of it.
That's a euphemism that needs to be widespread. Getting into Drummer Matt's blanket fort.
Oh, aye.
Oh.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
And there we go, there's the title for the episode. Got that one out of the way, nice and early.
But,
Well, yeah, jobs are good.
Yeah, beyond looking for houses and trying to work out French bank accounts and all that sort of stuff that no one really wants to hear about, I'm sure. I've not really got much to
I'm sure there's
contribute.
plenty of people who want to hear about your bank account, dude. Don't worry.
It's the hot content everyone's waiting for. They want to know how to set up a bank account in French.
What I have learned as a quick summary is that however bad you think banks are in England or wherever you're from, they're probably better than French banks.
Are they that bad, huh?
Like, they basically charge you for everything. Like, there's a monthly charge to have a debit card, and then they charge you to post it to your house so you can have said debit card. Like,
Right.
Yeah, like, it's just quite often the accounts will be it's a debit card, but it doesn't go out to the end of the month, so you can't track what you're spending until the end of the month when it all disappears.
That is
that's
awful.
bullshit.
I don't think that's all of them, so we just need to learn what the word is for the one that's not that.
You need to learn
Non-English debit
But I mean,
card.
there's
I need the not
presumably
shit,
a,
how to say not shit the debit card in French.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
Damn.
but I mean, other than that, I can't contribute too much to the whole gaming conversation, I'm afraid, again. But I mean, everyone's used to that anyway, so...
Even when you had the time to do it, it was pretty much the same.
But now he's learning French, which is way cooler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're busy doing crazy cool things around the world, and we're just sitting here playing video games, so, we can't really judge you too harshly.
Who's got the high ground?
I can't get a job here until I learn French, and I can't learn French all day, so the plan is, once I'll come back to UK next month, bring back my PC to here, and then I've actually got time, and I'll, in theory, have something to talk about.
Awesome.
Fingers crossed. And I can totally not buy WoW again.
Well, you'll have to, join, a French realm on, WoW or something. Because that's a pretty good way of learning a different language, is playing a game
true.
in a different language.
I mean, getting insulted for your low DPS in another language is going to make you learn pretty quick.
Can you imagine how lovely it sounds to be called a fucking moron who needs to get good dips
and
in
uninstall
French?
the game?
Yeah. Can you imagine how amazing that sounds in French?
It
probably sounds very nice.
It probably has a bit of poetry to it.
Yeah. You wouldn't feel so bad.
Well, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't understand what they were fucking saying.
Well, yeah, there's that.
With my C grade GCSE French.
See, I don't even have a grade in French, and it's like, so apparently you can speak French to a C level.
Yeah, according to my GCSE, I actually know how to understand French, at least to a basic degree. Spoiler, I do not. I have no idea what happens with French.
Bonjour, sayonara kind of thing, huh?
I don't know.
That could be French. I just don't know.
Konnichiwa, that's French, right?
It probably is, yeah.
Itadakimasu, that's French as well, I believe.
You and your fucking itadaki... Okay, no. I'm not getting into this fucking conversation with you again.
So, I guess we should talk about video games a bit.
Yes, what has happened in the world of video games?
Oh, probably lots of things, but we're terrible and barely ever pay attention to anything.
There is one brief bit of news that we won't dwell upon very long, and it's not actually video games, it's just gaming in general. Which we will mention to you briefly because we just want to inform you that it's a thing that happened.
See, I thought this was a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's completely and utterly ridiculous.
It is. So the PETA, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, you know how every now and again they get a bee in their bonnet about something that doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Like when they made a parody version of Super Meat Boy that was like Super Tofu Boy, and it played like shit and just made them look stupid. And they did a thing about like Pokemon,
and how it was like encouraging children to normalize animal fighting,
which is bullshit.
Yeah,
they've done another one, and they sent a message to Games Workshop.
Lower your prices, you twats.
No, that'd be behind that.
I'd be like, you know what, Petey, yeah, that's cool.
They basically said that it is completely unacceptable that their models, some of them, have fur.
It's disgusting. Space Wolf's gross.
Yeah, because it will normalise wearing fur to children.
Oh.
Yeah.
All those children that are going out there with their power fists whipping people apart.
Oh, I know.
And their jump packs and their heresy.
And
don't get me started.
Wearing human skulls.
Scarring their own visage.
Yeah, it's...
I'm sick of all these kids with their jump packs and the fucking...
chainsaws.
Their black carapaces.
It's just one of those ridiculous things where it doesn't take any amount of like thought process to go, but it's A, not real, B, set in an apocalyptic awful future where everything is shit. And since you specifically named the Space Wolves, it should be mentioned because they like make a thing in the little announcement, about like the fur trade and shit like that. It's like, no, look, the Space Wolves don't have a fur trade.
They're not all about that vintage couture.
They go and hunt these animals that can tear them apart. They hunt things that are part of a death world. To actually kill one and take its pelt is actually kind of impressive.
And they kind of need to because it's super chilly.
Yeah. It was a bit ridiculous. I kind of just assumed that they just do this shit for publicity. So we're kind of giving them what they want.
Yeah, so we should probably stop that. Just wanted to, like, fucking Matt Ward waded in on this, which really confused the shit out of me. Because you're Matt Ward. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not married to that guy. Who's this motherfucker?
What? I didn't realise that you'd actually got your own Twitter.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, shit.
Rather than just shit posting on the Snipe and Whip one.
I thought that's what you're supposed to do with an official Twitter account, just shit post all day.
We're not all Denny's.
I know, and that kills me inside.
But yeah, apart from that, there is probably news, but we haven't been paying attention.
I did see one bit of gaming news, I guess, because it came up on a post on like a sponsored post on Facebook.
Those are always the most reliable source of news.
Yes, it's the highly promising game of a mixture of a video game based on a film and also Square Enix. So, have you heard about this? The new Square Enix Avengers game?
Yeah.
I don't think we know anything about it apart from there's going to be a game. I don't think anything else has been released that I've seen.
Yeah, I saw the trailer and it was one of those things where you watch it and you go, well, I don't even know what genre of game this is, and I've been around the block enough to know that when Square Enix makes a pre-rendered thing, that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's news, but there's absolutely nothing to go on.
The only news is that it's a thing.
The surprising news that a video game company is making a video game.
Slow the fuck down there. Oh.
Wait, I mean, hey, come on, Valve. So I mean,
You know,
actually, they're actually working on a new game, aren't they?
They are. They're like, oh yeah, you know how we used to make video games and now we like just don't do anything at all and just let Steam go to shit.
I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, they're like, we want to focus on video games, and people are like, wow.
Gabe was in a was it an AMA on Reddit? It was something like that.
He was, yeah. I missed it by like 2 hours.
Yeah, and someone basically, called him on like not making any games anymore, and he was like, well, actually, we're working on first-person games at the moment. He didn't say what, or if it was connected to Half-Life or whatever.
I don't know if Gabe knows this, but making hats for TF2 does not count as making a first-person shooter.
No, this is true.
No, I would be very interested to see what Valve come out with now, because obviously they were like market leaders at a time.
Well, I didn't realise that the Source 2 engine is a thing, because that's what apparently I heard someone talk about. It's like the new Titanfall and a few other games, so on the new Source engine.
Really?
I was
Holy
like,
shit.
Really? I haven't checked this, so citation needed.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pretend that's 100% gospel, because Googling is for dweebs.
Oh, yeah. It's not like I have a computer right in front of me and check or anything.
Nah,
we could check, but
far.
I mean, I'm sure someone would love to point out our errors on the comments, so it's fine.
Right, we should probably get on to, talking to people who actually play video games occasionally.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe so. So I believe you want to go first there.
Well, why not? Okay, so, John and Matt, don't judge me, and listeners, please don't judge me. I've been playing a lot of Honeycam Studio.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds like I should judge you for it.
You kind of should. It's like a cam girl empire kind of game where you have to build up a porn website, and you've got all your girls, and they do cam shows, and you've got to earn money and fans.
It's from the same people that made Honey Pop.
Yeah, which is kind of like Bejeweled with Boobles.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And it's banned on Twitch, Honeycam Studio, even though there's no nudity. There are some suggestive, pictures, like, the loading screens are like women bending over and stuff, but they're all fully clothed, so it's just suggestive. And I don't think you even see a donger. You see a couple of dildos in the start, but they're quite low detail pictures, so it's like...
Well, they're cartoons.
That's the thing, it's like, there's nothing... I mean, it's suggestive content, of course, very thoroughly, but there's nothing that would break Twitch TOS.
There's no actual nudity.
It's less suggestive than the guy caught fapping on Twitch, so...
Well...
A little bit, yeah.
God bless you, Darkside Phil.
No. No, we're not fucking talking about Darkside Phil.
It's fine, he's the one YouTuber that everyone can kind of badmouth a little bit and no one cares.
Well, yeah, but... Yeah.
He's a gift to the YouTube community, we should all be grateful.
Anyway. Honeycam Studio is, Well, have you ever played a game and just sat there the whole time going, this is not for me? Because it's like, hey, big boy, and I'm like, So, the basic premise of the game is you start up and there's some sarky, fourth wall breaking, lol, so cynical character who's like, oh, finally you showed up. You need to deal with all these girls and manage it and turn a profit within 21 days. You're given a girl and you've got to do... There's a bunch of buildings you get that do different things, like activities. So you can drag and drop her onto the camera studio so she can do a sexy cam show. And you get more money as she gets more talented and more fans. So it kind of exponentially increases your gains. You can get more girls as the game goes on, and there are modifiers you can equip the girls with, like a cake.
Okay.
So you can cater to fetishes, because advertising is also a little bit... Yeah, there's literally cake farting porn. That is a fetish. That gives you bonus plus 25% fans, and you can buy adverts to advertise on cake farting websites to increase your traffic. And
to be honest, I was just kind of grateful to know that other people in this earth that have seen the cake farting porn, so I know that it's not just a brief mania that I was subjected to.
Yeah, that was when we were recording our first album, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
A producer was like, hey, check this out, it's so funny, it's a bunch of women farting on chocolate cakes, and we're like, mate,
But But that was the most normal video he showed us during that week, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think I got my revenge because I showed him a couple of cringe videos that he just could not deal with. And it's like, yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Checking fucking mate, bro.
he was laughing at videos of people fucking sheep's heads
Yeah.
in a dress.
Yeah.
But you show him the world's biggest Ninja Turtle fan and he can't handle
He
it.
just noped the fuck out of it. And it's like, what are you, a man or a mouse? But yeah, so there's cake farting modifier, which is fun. There's also like individual girls have like there's like alcohol and smoking things. So some of them smoke, some of them drink, to varying degrees. There's like one character who's like, honestly, I find her really creepy. Her name is Aiko, and she was fired from like her position as a teacher for fucking students. And I'm like, that's really kind of not okay. I mean, I think she was like a college student, but still, it's kind of a bit iffy, you know what I mean? And then she's also addicted to like alcohol, so you have to keep going to the shop and buying alcohol, which spends time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like a plate spinner. So, you know, you'd be like, oh, I'm out of cigarettes, and the girls get stressed, and when they get too stressed, they can't work, so you send them to the day spa, and you've got to manage your time and how long is spent in certain buildings and that kind of thing. I got quite into it, because you need to get a certain amount of fans when the 21 days point reaches, because money is kind of irrelevant, but you need that to do activities that get you fans. So, like, first time I played it, I was like, yeah, I ended this with, like, plus $10,000, like, dollars. I'm doing well. And it was like, oh, you failed, you twat. And I'm like, how? How did I fail? No, because that's way funnier than it actually was. Because it was like, oh my god, I leave you in charge for, like, 2 minutes and we're in... Oh, fuck off.
It doesn't exactly sound like you're enjoying this game.
I enjoy the mechanics of it. But the rest of it, like, the set dressing is a bit iffy. Like, some of the items you get... I don't know if it's trying to be really cynical and a bit cool, or it's genuinely trying to satirize like the horrors that sex workers face. Like, you can load up girls with cocaine and they'll perform duties twice as fast. And I'm like,
okay.
It's like, and then like when she runs out of cocaine, it'll go, oh, this girl ran out of cocaine, and it's like, I feel like a douche. Because I'm like, hey, I need more money, so I'm going to put this high schooler... Well, not high schooler, but like the girl who's got the teen thing going on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to give her a bunch of cocaine because I need more money. That doesn't feel good. I'm going to be honest.
I'm going to assume that it's just part of the satire.
I think it's supposed to be kind of like, isn't it crazy? But it's just... It's a bit...
It's supposed to be funny, but all it does is make you feel bad on your insides.
It makes me feel bad for actual sex workers, but you know. Oh, that's another thing. You can actually get them to do escorts. When you send them to the cam studio, say that takes like 8 hours or whatever, and you make a certain amount of money depending on how many fans she has and whatnot. So for argument's sake, say I'm sending a girl to the cam studio because I need money and she makes $8,000 from one session. You can send her to the sleazy hotel and make $8,000 in an hour. So you basically send her off with one of the fans for an hour, and then you get quick cash. But STDs are also a mechanic.
Okay.
So I played once, and a girl got an STD. I think she got chlamydia. And then, like, the tutorial bint, she pops up and she's like, oh yeah, she's got an STD. Sucks to be her, I guess. Oh well. If only there was something we could do about it. Doesn't matter. You know, some STDs are permanent. Okay, bye. And I'm like, oh god. Oh god.
So for your empire, not only are you getting innocent girls addicted to cocaine, but you're also getting some of them probably with life-altering permanent diseases.
Yeah. Also, you recruit new girls by sending your girls to hang out at the modelling agency. Now, see, that doesn't sound particularly bad. But it feels kind of like, hey, you know how you're having trouble making it in the modelling industry? Come, flash your foof at people online and, you know, you'll make triple what you're making. It just feels a bit predatory.
A little bit.
But yeah, it's like, that's the thing I'm having. It's like, a lot of these elements are a bit troubling, but the mechanics, for the most part, are pretty decent.
Okay, right.
So I'm really quite torn on it. So it's like, It is a good mindless little kind of like plate spinning game. You know, just don't think about giving like fresh out of college, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed girls cocaine and sending them to the sleaze hotel where they can get horrifying like AIDS. and then just be broken for the rest of their life. Just don't think about it.
Don't worry about that.
You can get a condom.
So, a condom.
You get like single-use items. Not a shared one. I don't know how you do it, like how you do it, and I ain't gonna judge, but there should be no such thing as a communal. It's
like you can wear underwear like 4 times. You know, you got front ways, back ways, inside out, front ways, inside out, back ways.
Okay, Matt, explain to me how you can wear a condom 4 ways, including inside out, back to front. Because, I mean, you shouldn't be able to, and I'm kind of disappointed you probably can. But I'm just saying that's probably not the best idea, especially, you know, for ladies or gentlemen working in the sex industry. Yeah. Just anyone in general. But yeah, you can send them off with Johnnies, and they'll be safe for like 1 visit to the sleazy motel. So I think I'm having trouble achieving the trophies because at the end of the 21 days, in order to get, like, you need to get trophies. So if you get 4,000 fans at the end of the 21 days, that's a bronze dick trophy. It is like a kind of semi-lob penis that's bronze. Yeah. And, like, I think 10,000 is, like, or 15,000 is silver. And it goes up till you get platinum mega dong.
Are they more erect
as they go? They are more erect as they go along.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much detail, again. It's just, like, you know those dicks that kids draw and everything?
Well, again, like, if you can play Outlast on Twitch, then just seeing a cartoon dick should really not be anything.
It's really just nothing.
Okay, I have an important gameplay question.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, you finish the game and you get your dick trophy.
Yes.
If you replay the game again, do you get to use the dick trophies you've collected as part of the shows?
No, which I think is a massive design oversight.
Oh yeah, that's obvious.
It's dreadful.
Right?
Now I'm just trying to think of the logistics of popular YouTubers trying to have sex with their silver play buttons.
I'm sure someone's done it.
There's somebody out there that's their exact fetish. So stop kink shaming people.
I'm not shaming. I'm merely curious.
Okay. But yeah, like it's weird because it's kind of like you at the end of the 21-day period, you know, you get ranked and you congrats, you got a bronze dong. Here's like 8 currency, which is it's quite stingy with it, but for you go back to the menu and that's how you buy the cosmetic items for all of your girls. So there's like a cyber goth in there, and you can get her like a nun costume, like a cyber nun, and it's like
do the outfits affect gameplay?
No, they don't. It's literally just cosmetic stuff. Okay. But it's kind of like well, I want to play and unlock them all. When you unlock all of the cosmetics, like hairstyles and clothing for a girl, you get a sexy picture of them, and I'm like, I mean, I'm sure that's good for some people, but I'm just like. Okay, this is in my Steam feed now.
I'm assuming that these pictures are
like them bending over chairs and stuff. It's nothing like explicit. Again, it's just very suggestive.
A very, I guess, what would it be? PG-13 is, I believe, the American rating.
That'd be about right. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just kind of. I mean, it's weirdly sexless to me. So I'm not playing it for a sexual buzz or anything. Although I don't know how you could, because it's a bit. You don't see anything, and it's very silly.
I don't know. Tycoon games can be sexy. I always play with like a semi-chub when doing Transport Tycoon.
Well, yeah, because that's a classic, and it is an absolute it is a monument to sexual gratification.
I can't play Roller Coaster Tycoon for too long, or I'll pass out.
No, I understand.
It's not enough blood. The problem.
Last time I played SimCity, I just about ripped my cock off. And there's the title.
We've got a selection this week.
Oh, I do like it. But yeah, I can't seem to get like the platinum trophy is like finishing with like I think it's like 100,000 fans, and I just can't get fucking close. It's like you have to like there's min-max guides for like min-maxing your cam girls, and I can't really do it because I'm bad at video games.
There's that.
And then there's like B, it's like I think it involves a lot of just send them to the sleazy hotel. So what if they get AIDS? But you can get like because if a girl gets AIDS, I mean if a girl gets like chlamydia, which is the only like illness I've dealt with, you can get steroids, which puts like it basically dulls the symptoms for a few days. Because if when a girl has chlamydia, they get super stressed very quickly. So they're like, you can send them to do cam shows and stuff, and they get like double stress out of it. So they work less basically, which is really also quite cynical. Like, oh yeah, just take some pills, work harder. I don't care. But yeah, so I think it's got a lot to do with that, because then you can get a lot more money, and then you can afford to go and like get and like spend it on advertising and things like that. But it's just I'm not good enough at the plate spinning to get that far. I'm
assuming you've just got a min-max like crazy.
I think, yeah, it's just there's gonna be like the golden like solution. There's gonna be, you do XYZ, get these 3 girls to start with, and but yeah, it's just it's a bit much for me at the moment, because I'm still a bit of a noob at it. But yeah, so I've been playing that. Also, we didn't mention the last podcast, mainly because I think we've been trying to blank it from our memory, but we've been playing Beyond Two Souls for the channel.
Oh, yeah.
The Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page Rage Cage game.
That is a fucking game and a half.
Oh, that's definitely a video... No, it's definitely a thing you can play on a video games console that has Willem Dafoe in it.
I think I mentioned this on Twitter. I want people to be impressed that we can play a game as weirdly disjointed as that, like a week or 2 apart when we were recording the sessions, and still kind of remember what the fuck is going on.
It's not easy, because it's like it's the non-linear storytelling.
Yeah.
So like it starts off. Like, I don't know if you've seen Matt.
Yeah.
Because you
need
to watch all of our videos.
I haven't seen the most recent one, but I think I've seen up to episode 6 or something.
For people who might not know, it's incredibly disjointed, and the narrative is out of order. I don't know why it is. I mean, it's kind of semi-justified in the beginning.
I know why.
Is it because David Cage saw it in a movie and thought, oh, this is so good, hon.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, there we go. There's the reasoning.
No, I often believe the reason why it's like that is because if you actually put all of the narrative in order, you realise how little of a story there actually is.
Well, I mean, that's okay. Like, I don't mind, like, the story not being particularly strong, but it's when you have to resort to, cheap tricks like that, it kind of bugs me. But, I mean, I would say, like, I think a lot of people might be maybe wondering if we genuinely hate David Cage, and it's like, no, not really. He's just crap, and he's fun to make fun of.
See, he's there's developers that you can get genuinely annoyed at. Like, I understand people who have a genuine seething dislike of like Peter Molyneux.
I knew who exactly you were.
Speaking of developers we like to whip,
because he lies.
He's a naughty liar man.
And so I understand that. Whereas I always get the impression from David Cage of that he's just someone who's kind of incompetent, who's been given way too much power.
I think, yeah, that's the kind of vibe I get. I mean, who fucking knows?
I don't know why. Like, because the people at Quantic Dream, they know how to make very beautiful games. Like, they look great. Like,
Heavy Rain was fantastic when it came out.
Yeah, but Beyond Two Souls quite often looks very next-gen, as it were. Like, it looks like a PS4 game sometimes. I mean, it is only running at 720, but it is running at 60, which I was fucking shocked about.
Yeah.
Apparently, or at least our Captain thing says it is. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Who knows?
When it comes to consoles, I'm kind of bad at telling what frame rate is running at. But yeah, they make these really gorgeous looking games, and like, I liked Heavy Rain, but it's got no replay value, because once you realise that the ending is always the same. Well, not the same, but the killer is always the same person.
Yeah. I mean, going up to it, I think that was probably the last game I got hyped for before I became a cynical mass of hatred and bitterness. Like, completely, I mean. And like they had like a thing on the PS3 where you'd go with your weird avatars and have a tour and stuff, and it was exciting. It was interesting.
It was on the PlayStation Home.
PlayStation Home, yeah. And you'd have to go and photograph a glove or something, and like
this was to promote Heavy Rain, by the way.
This was to promote Heavy Rain, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I quite like Fahrenheit or Indigo Prophecy if you're anywhere else. So like, yeah, I'll give this a go, and then I got it, and and it was like. Up and like leading up to it, it was every time you play it, it's going to be a different person. Like, the killer is a different person. It can go so many different ways. You know, this game dev bullshit, basically. Like, just promoting it with, why don't we just fucking lie? Because
I don't think it was a lie. I think it was going to be the case.
This is the thing. Like, every game promotion, they lie. Because of course they fucking do. It's marketing. It's marketing. They're trying to sell it. Like, so, you know, I'm not as naive as all that. But it was like that. I think that's what was going to happen. But like, Heavy Rain had a gargantuan amount of cut fucking content. Like, there was going to be a lot of like psychic kind of connections between like the killers and certain characters, and it basically went a bit Fahrenheit, and they kind of removed all that.
There's still some holdover from that when
which is why it's like a lot of the points in the story feels violently fucking disjointed.
A lot of the stuff to do with Ethan stops making sense.
Well, Madison as a character just stops being they just cut out her backstory, and it was just like, okay, I guess I don't need to know fucking anything about this rando woman who shows up in a hotel.
Well, no. She serves her entire purpose, as in she has sex with the main character, and she gets in her underwear and is nearly sexually assaulted in her own home in a dream sequence.
You mean she's written by David Cage?
Yeah.
Because that's like he loves it when like women like get attacked by people, which is it's like, okay, now as a writer, some of these tropes are there for a reason, and cliches, you know, sometimes they can work. It's like Terminator. Like Terminator 2. There's a lot of fucking problems with that movie. It's a time travel movie, which is always a massive inconsistencies. But the reason it gets away with them is because it's very, very well done. David Cage, however, isn't that good.
Well,
so so you can't really forgive that much.
No, well, the problem is that his games are a bunch of tropes held together with a bunch of unexplained insanity.
Yeah.
And you end up with characters starting off in a kind of sensible murder mystery thing, and then through a series of things that are weird but also oddly predictable, ends up fighting the internet as Goku.
Yeah, I will say credit where credit is due. Because I first played Fahrenheit in my games dev class at college, and I fell in love with that game. The first hour of Fahrenheit was fucking phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I had never encountered something so fantastic. I was like, I went home and I fucking bought it. I bought it. Just like, I played it like the same kind of thing about 3 times, because you're supposed to play like the first hour and see how it, you know, basically learn from it. Like how it's set up.
That's what you did at college.
That's what I did at college, yeah. So that's why I was playing it at college. Yeah. So you could learn like, what is good about this game, what is good about the startup, what hooks you, kind of thing. So we played other games like Resident Evil 4 and stuff like that. But like, this one really left an impact on me. I was like, damn, a game where you wake up and you've killed this guy and you've got to hide the evidence and run and then you play as the cop chasing you. That's so fucking fantastic. And then he fights the fucking internet. And you're like, the fuck happened? You sit there at the fucking halfway, like towards the end, and you go, I'm fighting the internet. There's
a Mayan conspiracy.
There's a Mayan conspiracy. I'm flying. I'm kicking cop cars until they explode. And fighting the internet. I feel I have been missold. It's just... there's always that fucking, like, jumping the shark moment. Like, there's, like, 4 of them in every David Cage game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Beyond Two Souls, as opposed to his previous things, is that the other ones, I think, managed to keep up the illusion that you were guiding the events and that things that you did mattered.
Well, there were failure states in the other ones. And this one, it's kind of like... I literally, at one point... I just stopped controlling during a battle, and I was talking about fucking D&D, and I got out of it fucking perfectly.
Yeah.
My character model had a few more scrapes, and it was like,
Yeah,
whatever.
We've not actually encountered any real failure state.
No.
I guess there are things where it is something that is not deadly to you, and you just have to keep doing it until you do it.
Yeah.
I guess non-progress is a failure state of a kind.
I guess in that context, I guess it is kind of the only failure state is not progressing.
Yeah.
So I guess we're currently in the failure state right now by not playing it.
Well, I do not consider not playing Beyond Two Souls to be a failure state. I consider that to be an unmitigated victory.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, My biggest problem with the game is that if he'd have stopped falling back and being lazy as a writer, it could have been so much better. That's my biggest issue, because I look at it and go, this is really interesting, like this weird other world that only one person, as far as I know, on Earth seems to have some strange fucking connection to. That's really interesting.
And you've got good actors in there.
You've got good actors doing good jobs with a mediocre, at best, script. And it's kind of like, this could be fucking perfection if you just tried a little harder. I mean, again, credit where credit is due. His tone in Beyond Two Souls is so much more consistent than it has been in the previous two big ones, like Fahrenheit and Heavy Rain. Like, the tone is a lot more consistent. The level of supernatural garbage is a hell of a lot more stable.
Yeah, you're sort of introduced to supernatural stuff at the start, and...
Yeah, it doesn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it doesn't just like, hey Jodie, fight the internet for the CIA. That'd be really cool.
Although, I'll be honest, wouldn't surprise me if that happened.
Oh, no.
Because the thing is, because of the way the game is made, I watched a Let's Play of it back when it first came out. So I technically know the entire story. But because it's so out of order and so disjointed and things don't necessarily, like, flow smoothly, I don't remember fucking anything about, like, large portions of it. Like, I remember there's... Like, I remember the scene which actually would have gone out by the time we put this up with the guitar.
Oh my god. I cringed so hard.
But Matt won't have seen that yet. So.
No. We won't spoil it too much.
So I remember bits like that, but I don't remember like a lot of the overarching things of how things connect or things, which I don't know if that's just because of the nonlinear like storytelling or if it's because the actual story, when taken as a whole, is wholly unmemorable.
Maybe that's the thing. You just don't know. It's like putting all those fancy like techniques in there. It just doesn't really do it for me. It doesn't really. I don't think it improves anything. I'd be happier with just a mediocre story told in order.
Yeah. However, I do think it is hilarious as a video game.
Oh, it's fantastic. It is a very fun experience. Not really because the game's that fun. It's just because you sit there and just go, "You fucking serious?"
Well, it's the opposite of a lot of like shitty games. Because normally what happens in like really shitty games is you're dying all the time. And so they just become really stressful to play. Whereas you're not going to die, so there's basically no stress in playing Beyond Two Souls. You're just kind of failing your way through it.
You just move forward and press buttons occasionally.
Yeah. So the controls don't work, but it doesn't matter because the game will wait around until it finishes. So
for me, that's the biggest issue with this game. I've not played it. I've only seen you guys play it. Basically, I vaguely knew what it was about. Like, I don't have I'm not too upset by the whole story out of thing. I think it can. I mean, it's different playing it to watching it, but I think it can work quite well doing things like that.
Oh, absolutely. It just you need to know what you're doing.
Like, what's the film where it's like told backwards? Memento, is it called? And it's I saw it ages ago, so I can't exactly remember. It's like it's similar. It's basically like it's told backwards, and then halfway through the film you find out what it's about, and then it goes forwards again, or it's something like that. I can't exactly remember, and it's really cool. It can work. I mean, it obviously doesn't seem to in this case, but I think for me the biggest issue is just there needs to be some consequences, otherwise it's just not a game.
Yeah, it's
if you could just stop playing and stop pressing any button and still win your fight sequence, like what's the point in playing in the first place?
Yeah, it kind of really doesn't engage me in the story. I mean, like I see kind of like failure states like character death as like resulting in a failure of button pressing. I see that is a consequence. That is a failure state. That is something you want to avoid.
Yeah.
That is something that gets you invested in fights.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want it to be suddenly, out of nowhere a button prompt comes up, you miss it and you die. But there's got to be a balance somewhere in between the two of like.
Yeah, it is very strange because I got hit by a monitor and thrown around and that it's like if I felt like there was any threat of my character dying, I'd give a shit. I would give so much more of a shit because I don't want to see my character fail. I want to succeed. Whereas if I can just put it down on the table and talk about fucking whatever I want, I'm not going to get involved.
Or of course, watch Ellen Page plow headfirst into logs and things.
That was so fucking brutal for how, like, she was down for a split second. Like, I'm pretty sure you'd brain yourself at that fucking velocity. You know
I am surprised there is a tooth left in her head.
Exactly. But no, I mean, like, I give that game a lot of shit, but that's just because I see how good it could have been.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, it's just aggressively average.
I mean, it, like I say, because of its ability to kind of just fail your way through it, it becomes a great game to let's play because it's impossible to get hung up on things.
Yeah, but so you can spend more time just doing the talky talks over everything and making fun of Willem Dafoe and pretending that the entire thing is literally just like Spider-Man like 1.5. Because Norman Osborn went insane, didn't actually die, spoilers, and decided to train up a little girl to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which I think makes the narrative way more fucking entertaining.
Oh, excellent.
That, and I don't think I'll ever get bored of just doing really bad Willem Dafoe impersonations, because apparently the only role he's ever done is Norman Osborn as Spider-Man.
He's never had any success on any other roles.
Nope,
no, he's not a massively successful actor who does loads of different movies.
Who's been in lots of, as well as big budget movies, lots of independent, very interesting movies.
He's not done anything like that at all.
No, never. He played the Green Goblin like once.
And he only had one line in that, which was, "Think about it, hero!" Which is apparently the only line I can remember. Although I do love his weird Power Ranger standing, like the way he stands there, like, you know, where he's with Spider-Man on the roof, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go and fuck up the city, Spider-Man. Join me and I won't scare you, Aunt May," or what. He has like a weird, like, Brooklyn accent that he fades into for some reason.
I don't remember if that's real or if that's in your head.
No, it's, well, okay, that's fair. But, you know, at the end he, like, grabs Spider-Man's face and he's like, "But because you really piss me off, I'm gonna make your girlfriend suffer." And, like, he's like, so is this is like the Batman voice for the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Where he's like, okay, so I'm an incredibly successful businessman. You know, Oscorp is a global phenomenon. So everyone knows what I sound like. You know, like, the leader of, like, everyone knows what, you know, the leader of Walmart sounds like, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, he's got a very distinctive accent.
Very distinctive accent. So he's like, no, but what if I did a really bad accent? Then nobody would know then. Yeah, I'm so clever.
Now I'm just thinking of the possibility of other heroes and supervillains doing that. So, like, what if the Joker was Welsh?
Oh my god! That sounds fantastic!
Or a West Country Riddler?
Please do that. Because I can't do a West Country accent.
I'm not very good at them either, so I'm not going to offend the West
Just
Country
pretend
people.
you're a pirate.
Yeah, just pretend you're a pirate and be the Riddler.
In short, Beyond Two Souls is not a particularly good game, but it is quite funny.
Yes, I have a lot of complex feelings which are hard to articulate because I'm bad at words.
There is that too.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm missing out by playing it, because I feel like watching it, I'm having just as much input into the gameplay as I would be if I was playing it. So
that's the thing. If you just look up a silent Let's Play on YouTube where no one does anything, that's literally the experience.
I do feel that is always a sad indictment on a game when just watching it on YouTube is pretty much the same experience as playing it.
I mean, like, it's just sad. Because, yeah, like, I've made myself perfectly clear. I'm kind of just... I am distressed because the game had a lot of potential. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could talk about this all day. But we're not going to, because we have a finite amount of time on this earth, and I'm not spending it here talking about David fucking Cage.
That's fair. Okay, do you just want to eat that last little bit of cheese?
I really do want to eat that last bit of cheese.
Then just eat that little bit of cheese.
Are you sure?
Yes, because I don't want to hear you eating cheese in the audio.
Alright then. So,
hi.
I'm eating cheese. Yeah, sorry. I thought you'd be going a little bit longer. This is your fault.
That's right.
Just eating cheese.
Oh yeah, no worries. Cheese is good.
A Baby Bell cheese.
Oh, we had raclette here. So what you get like, it's like a plate-sized, but like, I don't know, 6 inches tall thing that you put in the middle of the table.
Okay.
And it's like got a shelf halfway up, and then like above that it's got like heating grill element thing. So it's basically like a mini grill thing.
Okay.
But then it's got the opposite side of that. So on the very top is like a hot plate sort of thing. So you get like a little. I guess it can only be described as like a trowel sort of thing, like a triangle thing, but.
You mean like a cake?
Yeah, like a cake slice thing, but with sides as well. So it's like a big spoon, basically, but triangle shaped.
Okay.
So then when you put them... Have you ever played Trivial Pursuit? I know it's boring, don't get started on that. But
no.
You get little, like, mats?
Yeah, I played Trivial Pursuit.
You know you get your little cheeses that you put in a... You collect 6 of them and put them in a hexagon.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But they're hollow because they're... Sorry, go with me on this.
Okay, hollow cheese that you put in a hexagon. Yeah. I'm with you, but
if anyone's played Trivial Pursuit, so basically if you turn those upside down, they're like a triangle shaped ish, but with a hole in the top. Imagine that, but as big as like a dinner plate sort of thing. I don't know. Sorry, that was quite bad explaining. But anyway, basically you get a trowel. You put cheese on your little trowel and then put it under the grill thing and leave it on there. And then while your cheese is grilling, you put like salami and various bacon and meats on the top hot plate, and then when your cheese is grilled, you pour it over potatoes and put the meat on. And then while you're eating, you put more cheese on your cheese spoon thing and put it into the grill again, and it's just excellent.
Cheese to the cheese spoon.
Yeah, the cheese triangle trowel thing.
Okay.
Basically,
that
you just
sounds
eat
like a really shit pizza.
You just eat, but it's kind of sociable. It's quite nice.
Oh. So is it kind of like cheese and ham fondue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's quite excellent. They have a lot of good cheese here.
I can imagine they have some great
As
cheese.
if you hadn't heard, if you hadn't heard about French cheese.
I mean, I like Baby Bell, so you could say I'm a connoisseur. I also ate a baguette once, so...
Once?
Yeah.
Never again.
It was sharp. It scared me. But anyway, we should get back to... Okay.
Yeah.
So, Webb, what have you been up to?
Video games, not much. Apart from obviously playing Beyond Two Souls.
And Binding of Isaac, presumably.
Yeah, shut up. And briefly played a bit of Eisenhorn Xenos, or Xenos. I'm not sure how it's supposed to be pronounced anymore.
Xenos bugs the fuck out of me.
But that's a Warhammer 40k game.
Okay.
That mobile port.
Yeah, it was a mobile port of... They decided to make like an RPG based on one of Dan Abnett's books.
All right.
Well, he did a trilogy of them, and I think this is based off the first book, which is called the same thing, so presumably it's based on... Yeah, it is based on the first one, then I'm thinking on it.
Presumably. You can't take that for granted. But...
Being called the same thing makes sense.
You mean like Call of Cthulhu?
Okay, yeah.
Dark Corners of the Earth.
Call of Cthulhu is a bad example.
Yeah, that really is.
But yeah, so it's based on that Dan Abnett novel of you play as an Inquisitor, and... It's I've only played like an hour or so of it for the video that should have gone up on Wednesday, but hasn't been edited.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday right now, so tough.
But when this comes out, it will have been up.
And it's that's just it's another kind of frustrating game because it has this grand scope. All of the environments are often quite big and gothic,
very grandiose, very 40k.
Yeah, and the main guy, Gregor Eisenhorn, is played by Mark Strong, who did Titus's voice in Space Marine. So he's already got a provably good 40k voice.
The 40k voice is a fantastic thing, and I love it. It's perfection. It's
like a slightly gruff, educated English voice is like the voice that just really goes well with that setting.
Also, rest in peace, John Hurt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because 2016 wasn't fucking horrible enough.
Because he played Pythol in. He didn't play Pythol. He played Brother Karnak in Ultramarines.
Yeah.
And had a fucking amazing voice.
Don't remember him with that.
No.
Don't let that be the thing he's remembered for. Don't. He was a good man.
But he was the best thing about that movie.
Well, yeah.
Because his voice was just fucking amazing. And he's been in loads of shit. And he was a great actor. He will be missed.
Yeah. The problem getting to our age, all the people you grew up with and give a shit about start dying.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to Eisenhorn. Yeah, it was so good voice acting for the main character at least. Not the other characters are all right.
I personally the bad guy you're chasing, iClone, I didn't like his I think maybe it was just he had a strange vocal tick where every time he spoke, he had to call the Inquisitor by his first name. See, this is the thing.
I don't know why you're so.
It just bugged the fuck out of me. I was just like, oh yeah, Gregor. And it's like, okay, that's fine.
It's
First few times, it's fine. I appreciate it's condescending.
Yeah, he's being condescending to him. That's why.
But it feels like he's being a little kid and he's using the same thing over and over again because he knew it worked at least once.
Well,
it's just I'm not saying that this is a justifiable criticism. I'm just saying that I am weird and this bugged me.
Okay. Fine. When there's a million other things to get annoyed about the game about.
No. Don't get me wrong, there are.
Because, the big problem with it is that, it's a mobile game originally, so it had to have a very simplistic kind of combat system.
Right.
Simplistic as in you hit left click a lot. And that's about it.
Oh, okay.
So you tap the screen a lot, basically.
Yeah, and all the quick time events presumably were taps, and so now they're just left clicks. And it kind of locks on to people, because obviously a lock-on system, like manually targeting, would be very awkward on mobile devices, so that just kind of carried over, and so it just kind of automatically locks onto people. But that means that half the time it decides not to lock onto people, and locks onto, like, the exact opposite of where they are. Or, alternately, will lock onto a person standing behind the camera and not the guy right in front of you who's pointing a gun at your face.
Yeah, that was a bit like because you're a psycho. The Inquisitor you're playing as is a psycho, so
Yeah,
you've
like
got like force push and
Yeah, he's a low-level psycho, at least at the start, anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the part we played, and like you have like a force push like to use during combat. And I remember seeing you use that twice on the guy you were facing, and it just spun him round and did it at the camera.
Yeah.
And didn't really hit anyone, and that happens a good few times, and it was like. It got you killed once or twice.
Yeah, and there's just very little audio-visual feedback when you get hit either, so it sometimes you don't notice you're getting hit, especially if there's like a lot of people around. And it just doesn't feel good.
I mean, there are some elements, again, that are like very cool. Like a lot of the environments, like, it's just very, very, like you said, grandiose in scope, just very gothic and fucking just huge.
Yeah, like basically it's one of those games where everything that's like on the artsy side of it, like the level, like the way the levels actually look, the character design, and a lot of the audio, all works really, really well and looks cool. And it's just the video game part, because it was what could have been a really cool RPG that was just hamstrung by shitty mobile controls that carried over to its PC port.
Yeah, I think the platform that it was released on is the biggest problem with it.
I will probably play through the whole thing, I'll just put it on easy mode, because I want to just experience the story and how it tells it, but the gameplay itself is just fucking trash. I hate it.
But I don't think we're not really offending many sensibilities by saying so, because it's quite widely agreed upon that the controls are pretty shonky.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you look at like Steam reviews and it's either people going, this is unplayable garbage, just read the book instead, it's way better.
I want to read the book.
Yeah, or people going, the actual game kind of sucks, but I really enjoyed the story, so it's worth playing it for that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it like it's probably going to be like Mass Effect 1 for me, where I hate the way it plays, but I like the story a lot, and that's why I play it.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's gonna boil down to.
But to stick on the sci-fi thing, I do have another topic. Shock horror, you will be surprised to learn it is related to Star Trek.
Oh.
I'm just
going to say, that is so out of character.
I know, it really is, isn't it? I should probably make, like, a jingle. Like, Wib talks about Star Trek for 20 minutes, like, jingle. And it's used in every podcast.
Yeah.
It's just, actually, we just change the intro music for that.
Should we just you know what? Fuck gaming. Why don't we just make this a Star Trek podcast? Because that's pretty much where we're going.
But this is a very interesting one. I didn't intend to talk about this, but I
but you're fucking going to.
No, but it was just so weird and interesting that I had to talk about it.
Web talks about Star Wars. No, Star Trek, not Star Wars.
Everyone knows you're a fake gamer boy now.
I said the wrong thing.
You did, and now the internet will never forgive.
If you don't take that out, I might cry. Anyway,
so I mentioned last time that I had got these comics, these Star Trek comics that are being released like every couple of weeks. They're like one of those things where you get a subscription.
Oh yeah,
and
yep.
But you get.
Only the first one's affordable.
The first one's cheap, and then they get expensive after that. And most of the time, they're not worth the money.
Yeah.
And there's a million issues. So if you actually get a subscription, then you're just basically committing to spending $2,000 on shit you don't need.
Yeah.
However, because the first handful are released kind of just into like news agents and things, I was like, well, I'll pick up the first couple, because the first one was dirt cheap, and the second one was based on City and the Edge of Forever, which is the best, one of the best episodes of the original series, and written by Harlan Ellison, and it was a retelling of it based on his original script, and so it is much more interesting. And so I was like, well, I'll pick those both up, because hell to pick that up in its collected form, not in this kind of collected state, is like 20 odd quid, whereas this was 7. Okay. So it was actually decent value. Now I picked them up for the main stories, which one was City on the Edge of Forever, and the other one was the connecting story between post Nemesis regular Star Trek and the reboots, which does the elaborate thing of giving backstory and character to the main antagonist of the movie, which some critics, some people with very extremist opinions like myself, think that you should do those things in the movie he's in.
Oh.
But
is
no,
that what you think?
They chose to do it in the companion comic book.
That seems ass backwards, I'm gonna be honest.
It's alright. It's called Countdown, and it's okay. And the City on the Edge of Forever is really good. Much like the actual episode, it's a good comic, including like a foreword and an afterword by Harlan Ellison himself, which is kind of fun.
Did he hate it?
No, he loved it.
Really?
Which is shocking because Harlan Ellison doesn't like anything.
No, he's kind of like the old cranky writer man's like Alan Moore that is like, I hate everything.
Yeah, I hate every adaptation of everything I've made.
So ooh.
However, the thing I actually want to talk about is that in each of these books, there has been a classic 60s Star Trek comic in the back of them.
Like reprinted?
Yeah, a reprinted version of that.
Okay.
They're made by a company called Gold Key, who apparently made a load of licensed stuff back in the day. Now, these things are a work of surreal art. Now, they're very obviously done very cheaply, and the first warning sign is like the foreword for these things basically says that they didn't have much reference material to go on when making these. So even though the show was on telly, they couldn't. There was no VHS tapes around, so they couldn't just give them a tape to watch.
Yeah.
So
I'm guessing they didn't have the foresight to with so something like Batman the animated series had writer's notes, like do's and don'ts and guidelines.
Yeah,
they had to fill and bullet points that they needed to appreciate if they were going to write an episode.
Yeah, no, that is not the case here. So so there's lots of minor inaccuracies that you notice, like the artist, who was an Italian guy, he had only press stills, like the PR shots. He didn't have one for James Doohan, who plays Scotty. So Scotty just isn't Scotty in this. Presumably because of the weird coloration on photos he was given. Bones is for some reason in a green shirt.
Okay.
And this is not related to the inaccuracies of just not having reference material. He just can't draw Kirk. You just cannot draw William Shatner at all. So half the time when William Shatner's talking, because other people are wearing green shirts, I don't know if it's William Shatner half the time, because it looks nothing like him. And it looks different in every other shot.
You see, it's like, I do feel bad for the people making it, because, like you say, they had, barely any resources.
And there's lots of things that are just, it's totally non-canon. As in, the ship has rockets rather than warp nacelles. You see, fire coming out the back of them and shit.
Oh.
And it calls them teleporters rather than transporters. Things like that. The minor ones that you can kind of get away with, and, the fact that the inside of the ship looks nothing like it. But what makes it really, really interesting is that the tone of it is completely fucked. So, you know how Star Trek is generally a fairly progressive show, generally tries to look on the bright side of things.
It's very hopeful.
And especially in early Star Trek in TOS, it had an almost well, I won't say almost, an actually deluded idea of men being like these perfect beings, because Gene Roddenberry was a strange man, and he insisted that humans had to be like
they weren't ever allowed to be bad.
They had to be like uncorruptible almost. Especially Federation humans, which is actually one of the things that was changed in the rewrite of City on the Edge of Forever. There was a corrupt Federation guy. He's the bad guy in the original version, and that's just not in the new one.
See, that sounds so much more interesting to me.
It is. This did not apparently go through to the comic creators. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the first issue, and this is actually the first issue that was put out, and to demonstrate how it is not only completely un-Star Trek, but also how it is completely insane.
Okay.
This is bearing in mind it's based on TOS, and TOS was already insane. They literally go and have an episode where they meet Apollo, the Greek god.
Yeah, that's you know what's really funny about TOS? It sounds like comic books.
Yeah, it sounds like it's all made up.
It's like I read comic books for fucking best part of a decade, and some of the dumb shit in there you can't do on television, and it sounds like that's what they did.
Yeah, all the dumb shit you find in comic books, Star Trek did it already.
Wow.
So in this episode, this issue, which I can't remember the name of offhand, I'd have to go get it, but it was the very first issue of the Gold Key comics. They land on a planet that is covered in plants. Now, unbeknownst to them, some spores from the planet have got out into space, and they seep through the structure of the ship, and they get into McCoy's guinea pigs. He has guinea pigs now.
Okay, yeah. Why not?
And
does he store liquor near them?
Possibly. I presume they're actually just a front for a liquor cabinet.
That probably feels like him, yeah.
The guinea pigs are infected by the spores and turn into John Carpenter's The Thing.
I thought you were going to say John Carpenter. Like, what? They start directing really good movies?
No, they turn into they become this weird body horror mass of tentacles that's plant-based.
Okay, that sounds cool and all, but like you say, not quite Star Trek.
So they land on the planet, and these things can also infect people, although they only infect one red shirt, obviously.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, he wore a red shirt, didn't he?
And so you end up and it turns out that this planet is basically full of sentient trees that can walk around. And these sentient trees are very, very angry.
Angry sentient trees.
And they will attack people. Now, possibly the best part about it is that whenever finding out these shocking things, the crew have exclamations that they use, much like an old comic book, or like an old TV series, like in Scooby-Doo, the whole Jinkies, or that kind of thing.
There's like a catchphrase.
Yeah, catchphrases. Whereas they seem to be trying to make one stick in these comic books. So they say things like "suffering solar showers," or "howling comets," or "shades of Pluto." Oh, look, there's a planet over there. It's that's all the way through it, which takes you out of it.
Suffering solar showers.
Yeah. Now, these plant people, they also have the equivalent of bloodhounds, carnivorous plants that they used to hunt with. Do you want to know what those plants are?
I'm guessing they're nowhere near as cool as like predator hounds.
They are carnivorous tumbleweeds.
Okay, but for real this time.
Yeah, really. Oh. Really. That is really a thing.
I'm just trying to imagine, like Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner in the show, hamming it up, running away from a tumbleweed that is growling at them.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But the best part, the absolute best part, is that when they get back on the ship, Spock then turns around and goes, "We can't leave this planet alone. If these spores get out, they could take over the universe," and proceeds to completely eradicate the planet of life with the phasers from the ship. He exterminates the planet.
Oh my god.
I was reading that and I just sat there and I was like, if Gene Roddenberry ever read this, he would have a fucking heart attack.
Maybe that's what killed him.
Maybe.
He finally read that. Well, fuck this, I'm just gonna die.
There's just this weird callousness and harshness about the reality of Star Trek universe in these comics, like the second one that I've got. They land on a prison planet where what happens is the race that has these planets, they send their prisoners there because these planets randomly explode.
Oh yes, Britannia. I'm saying that basically Britain did basically the same thing, sending a bunch of
but Australia doesn't explode.
Well, okay, I grew up there.
It does its best to kill you in other ways.
Well, yeah,
and I wish it would explode because that would be the least painful way it tries to murder you.
But these planets randomly explode. That's the punishment. You get sent to them, and then there's the psychological torment of that you're going to die, and everything on this planet is going to not exist. But you don't know when.
Okay, I'm just going to say it, and I am not taking a hardline stance on anything. I don't want to get just into this kind of political discussion. If you're going to kill prisoners, just shoot them.
Yeah.
Don't fucking... we'll spend God knows how much money sending them out into space. Okay, they're going to have to fucking look for these planets. They're going to look for the markers of an exploding planet.
They glow. That's how you can tell an exploding planet, according to this comic, anyway.
Oh, well, then that settles that. So they have to find them, and then they go put them down there, which could explode at any time. Yeah. So how many, just jailers have been killed?
They're remote control ships that send them. Okay. They did think of that.
Okay, so they thought of that. That still seems like, just fucking throw them into a hole.
Yeah.
Just a big hole. Fuck the spaceships. Fuck the robotic spaceships. Throw them in a big fucking hole.
Just hit them with a stick.
Hit them with a stick until they die from it. Feed them things that will kill them. I don't know, throw them out of a window. It's fucking send them to an fuck you.
If there is one thing that that we have proved as human beings is that any sentient life is probably not going to find it too difficult to think of ways of hurting fellow sentient life.
Exactly. But that's just that just seems massively dramatic.
And the kind of surreal thing is that when the Federation people are first told about this, their first response is, "Oh, that's a remarkably progressive system." It's like, wait, what?
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 Wow.
Admittedly, that's before they find out the planets explode. That's when they're just sent to a random planet and just left there. And they're like, oh yeah, that's quite progressive. And then they get told it explodes, and they're like, that's too far.
Leaving them to starve horribly on an unknown planet is fine, but they do give
them food and stuff.
Why do they give them food if they're just going to explode?
So they'll live longer.
Why do they need to live longer?
So that then they'll live long enough to get exploded.
Okay. The end point is the prisoner dying.
Yeah.
Why do they need to explode?
The thing is,
it's not about the end point. It's about sending a message.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to have a go at this stupid-ass space culture.
And then at the very end, because the crew lands on it and they get captured by some of the prisoners, and they eventually find out what's happening because the prisoners pretend that they were just part of a crash, and they eventually escape from their captors, and as the Enterprise rockets away, literally rockets flame out the back of it and everything.
Because they have rockets.
Yeah, the planet explodes. And the sentiment, not the exact wording, but the sentiment is, oh well, we shouldn't have done anything anyway, we couldn't have saved them, lol, Prime Directive.
Oh.
Even though, in the original series, it took until the end of, Season 2 before they even gave a name to the Prime Directive, and they broke it on... I want to say there's something like, I think, about 80-odd episodes of original series. And I want to say there's a ballpark of about 40 of those. Don't just break the Prime Directive, but bust it over, break its spine over their knee, and then fuck the lifeless corpse of it.
Oh my. Oh, we're going there.
That's how hard they break the Prime Directive on that show all the time. Mostly because they hadn't developed, it wasn't a thing in that universe until, the second season.
Oh, yeah.
And even then, they kind of just call it, the non-interference directive to begin with, or something like that, and then by the end they start calling it the Prime Directive. So that's the Star Trek comic books. I'm honestly tempted to buy the next.
You gotta see where this goes.
One. Not because I actually want to read the story that's in the next one, the main story, because that's a Borg story involving Picard and 7 of 9 apparently.
What? Okay, fine.
Yeah, well, they go back to the Alpha Quadrant, so
yeah. No, I mean it's just that's whatever.
Yeah. They have a whole canon, non-canon sort of existence after the movies and Voyager ended.
Loose canon.
Yeah, kind of loose canon.
Yeah.
But I just want it because I want to read the Gold Key comic in the back and see how insane it gets. Because they're just fantastically...
Can you get these comics any other way?
Presumably. I don't know how much they cost to get the reprints.
Probably be a bit more expensive than the book with the other ones.
I mean, if I can find like a collected one of them, I might have to have a look for that because they are a thing of wonder. Like
they seem like so strange and wonderful and horrifyingly weird.
It's sort of like how watching things like Voyager or Enterprise angers me because it tries to be canon but keeps breaking canon rules and keeps busting the continuity like constantly.
Yeah.
But when something breaks it to such an extravagant degree, it stops being annoying, and you've just got to respect the shit out of it, you know? It's
That's
committed.
why My Immortal is one of the best written fan fictions of all time.
Exactly.
It's so perfect.
So what we're saying is that the 1960s Gold Key Star Trek comics are the My Immortal of Star Trek.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So we have one last thing to discuss. You may remember that last time we had a very long-winded discussion about the mechanics and the logistics behind Toy Story's universe.
Yeah.
That came from a writing prompt Tumblr account.
Yeah.
We thought it might be fun to try and find another one of those to talk about. Because it gave us so much primo content.
Because this is what people are listening to the podcast for. Us being complete and utter wankers.
So, I saw one earlier today that was create a universe in which our universe is a fictional universe, then convince me that I'm a fictional character. Which I take to mean that in this fictional universe, our universe is the fake one, so you have to try and convince me that my life is not real. Because it can't be real, it has to be part of a narrative and fictional.
Oh.
Okay. I could do this, but I'm not sure if it hits a bit close to home, so feel free to cut this. But you've dealt with the government, right?
Yes.
That sort of horror can't possibly be real, it must be a story.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'm probably fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, real humans don't treat real humans like that.
Yeah.
That is super real.
Sorry if that's a bit too...
No, that's
close to
to be
home,
fair, that's probably the best thing
Yeah.
we're going to get out of that.
I mean, by extension, you know, just without dwelling on it, just look at the world right now. How could any of this be real?
It must all be a joke.
It's an elaborate satire.
Yeah, it must be.
That's what we're here to do, dwell on things and make the listener very upset so by reminding them how horrible the world is.
Well, okay, to do this another way, I'm going to point out that, okay, Matt, there is a bit of a plot hole in your story,
Okay.
Which proves that you're fictional.
Right.
Okay, what's this?
So you know how you are like, you know, you're actually quite highly educated.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, you've been to the university. You nearly had a doctorate at one point.
I am a master of metal.
Yeah, you are a metal master, but you are also a drummer.
Yes.
I do not believe those two things correlate.
You know what? Checks out.
You're also probably the most in the band. You were probably the most musically adept of all of us.
Oh, painfully so.
Yet you wouldn't. Yet you weren't the one writing the music for us, even though you could, but you didn't.
Are you suggesting that Drama Matt's some kind of Mary Sue?
Yeah, he's a Mary Sue basically, and he shouldn't. And it was obvious that they realised that in the writing process, so they had to like bring
They ran with it.
So they just kind of like made his position so that he couldn't exploit the Mary Sooness by making him a drummer. So
He still has all the hallmarks though.
yeah,
I mean, like you're the token cynic
yeah,
in the story. You're the and then there's this asshole.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
And I mean that with the most respect. Kind of like you're the one that everyone secretly relates to. You know, when they're all like, "Oh no, this is so bad," and like everyone's panicking and being idiots, and you sit there and go, "Hey, everyone's panicking and being idiots, but you make people laugh." Yeah, that's basically you.
Okay.
You're the dude that never smiles.
Oh, I am that trope.
You're that trope.
I mean, I guess to be honest, you could just sit there and say that either of us, we have managed to make money off the internet by playing video games, and there is no way that can ever be a real thing.
It does sound hella fake.
It
to
doesn't
be fair.
sound. Well, no, the ultimate fictional thing is, when you see a movie or a TV show, and there's a fictional TV show or radio show or something in that universe.
Yep.
And it's obviously like based on like one kind of joke, like the "I'll buy that for $1" thing in RoboCop. Mm-hmm. And you sit there and you go, who would ever watch that? That like there's not enough content there on that show. There's not enough like depth to that for that to be a real show that people watch all the time. Like the the happy elves on in The Simpsons.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no one would ever actually watch that.
Like Six Sad World.
Yeah, like Six Sad World.
Or the Honey, Where Are My Pants from a Lego movie.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
Oh, have you still not seen it?
No. But I'll take your word for that. Anyway,
Okay, yeah.
those kind of shows, the proof that we are in a fictional universe is that I firmly believe this podcast is exactly like those shows. Like, there's not enough depth or content for people to actually really want to listen to this.
So we're the ones that fade in, like just as someone walks into the character's room and then they turn us off.
Yeah,
like, quick. So about that thing we're doing
about the ninjas who kidnapped the president's daughter, you know that kind of thing.
That I'm actually starting to think that maybe we are fictional characters. Draw Matsumeri Sue, and we're literally the background entertainment.
We're the
in
background
TV
noise.
show. What I mean,
we are world building for someone else's story.
oh no, that's kind of miserable, but that feels pretty accurate.
Hey, at least we're useful.
Well, yeah, this is true.
I guess on that
Kind of.
on that slightly depressing note.
We're good at making our listeners feel good.
Oh, I don't know. They'll probably feel fine because, like I say, it's their story. They're the protagonist in the story.
Well, they've shut off by now because somebody's walked into their room and gone, like, "You're married to America now. We need to go save, I don't know, the Queen of America or whatever it is in their."
I kind of want to hear that story.
Yeah.
That's certainly more interesting than what we've got going on here.
Well, to be fair, we are only snippets, so
Yeah.
this whole thing is probably a season's worth.
Oh yeah, you'll just gradually hear little bits here and
Yeah,
here
just
and
little
there.
bits here and there, just the random disjointed garbage.
Again, much like this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic. But on that note, we should probably get going. Actually,
Yes,
I think. Because,
Yes.
the protagonist's got shit to do right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
we need
So-
to back off.
So you go and save the world, or the president's daughter, or go rescue your sweetheart from the marriage that she shouldn't be doing with the wrong guy
Because they're not you.
because they're not you. I don't know.
Whatever your story is, we believe in you and we'll always be here to world build. We are a fucking fixture. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.